All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Gonna be touching on the top prop bets today, this Saturday. Obviously, Saturday is typically a day in which we get some pretty big edges in college basketball, and that's going to be the case again today. I do want to start out with that. So yeah, I mentioned college basketball, guys. We are going to get some big edges. The first one that I want to call out to is going to be Sheed. This is going to be an afternoon game. I know I'm doing this video a little bit later than I typically would, but I do want to show you guys that because it's a pretty big edge. We can bet it on both sites because there's a massive prop line difference currently. Now this could change, and it probably will change. It should change for that matter as well. And so yeah, looking at Sheed, guys, currently his prop line difference is 4.35, and this is pretty crazy. And we're going to look at the data points that we are getting here as well. We're going to see his average sportsbook line is set at 35.3. His projection data is set at 36. Okay, so we can see this is the exact middling opportunity that we would want. So on PrizePicks, the percent likelihood for this hit is about 54%. On Underdog, the percent likelihood for the under to hit is about like 52 or so. But this is such a big prop line difference. I have already bet this on both sites. Betting the under on Underdog, betting the over on PrizePicks. That's a very big edge that we are getting. And just as an FYI, guys, I did spend the morning kind of updating the time part of the cheat sheet. Just wanted to call that out to you guys. So it's going to be easier to sort by the game times specifically there. Maybe if a time slot is already locked on the day and there's still props populating in there because this updates every hour, that's something that you guys could use that for then, just to make sure we're getting the prop bets that are currently active. But after that, guys, we are still getting some decent prop line differences there as well. One prop bet that I did use Sheed with was Tyson for over fantasy score as well. Just because we're going to see that his line here as well does seem to be the outlier on PrizePicks. So I'm perfectly fine betting the over there as well. So looking at, again, his PrizePicks line is set at 31.5. The projection data likes him at 33. The average the projection data likes him at 37.5. The average sportsbook line likes it at 33.3. And then the PrizePicks line is off by 2 as well. But I would argue the Underdog line is more correct. But again, we are getting some pretty big prop line differences. And I know someone commented on the video yesterday. At some point, this video or this channel came all about prop line differences. I'm like, I can't control that, right? Like it's just, or fantasy score was the quote. I'm like, I can't really control that. That's where the edges are at right now. And in a weird way, like I know not everyone gets to bet on those, but in a weird way, the channel suffered, even though we're like at an all-time high for units won like per month over the past 2 months, in 2024, it's crazy. So, it's like, what do you do with that, right? Like giving people correct advice, good advice. That's the conundrum I'm in right now. But looking at it, fantasy score the other way, I don't mind some of these ones. These are okay edges that we are getting here. Ryan Kalkbrenner is one that we are gaining a decent prop line difference with as well. We can see he's going to be a very good under bet on Underdog actually, because already for PrizePicks, he's someone that the data is telling us to bet the under on. So on Underdog, that's going to be a much, much better bet. And it's funny, guys, with college basketball, it seems like every single slate we're getting a majority of the props to be under fantasy score. And I'll pull up Underdog here for you as well. So much so that I did put a portion of this morning just double checking the calculations and making sure they're correct. And they are. It's the weirdest thing. I know in some cases, like some props are just vastly expected to hit the unders. Like a lot of this says props today is like that. But I think that's just kind of the beauty of college basketball. Now, yesterday and the day before that, Underdog and PrizePicks were more correct than the average sportsbook line. But we know more times than not, the average sportsbook line is going to be more correct than the Underdog and or PrizePicks line, especially when we are targeting these prop lines that have these massive outliers like Ryan Kalkbrenner today. Again, very big prop line difference that is seemingly a much better bet there on Underdog. And we are seeing, we typically get bigger edges on Underdog, but it is crazy just how many of these are favoring the unders. And like, this is why I'm like, all right, let's just double check, make sure it's good to go. And it is. It's just crazy that's the case. Here's another one, guys. That's a pretty big prop line difference. And actually with Sheed, just as an FYI for Boo, I actually did Sheed under fantasy score on Underdog paired with Sheed as well for under his fantasy score. And then I went ahead and did the exact same bet on PrizePicks. I'm just trying to target a net profit on the day. It doesn't really matter which site we have. So from there, let's go in and jump into some NBA props. And again, it's weird. Like we just haven't been getting that many great NBA props. And right now that's going to be the case again. Like looking at it, guys, Cameron Johnson for over rebounds is literally the best one. 53.9% chance to hit. That's fine. The projection data likes to have 4.6. Tyler Hero rebounds and assists. The projection data is slightly higher, but these are all smaller edges on paper. Like the best one that we might have is Dylan Brooks, where the projection data and also the average sportsbook line is basically saying the exact same thing, whereas the The fantasy score is at 18.5. That's a slight prop line, or that's a slight advantage that we're getting there. But it's a tighter slate. But if you are looking for some EV bets today in NBA, you could potentially roll with these three. Not exactly, great EV bets because they're not 54% higher or the likelihood to hit, but perfectly fine with those if you guys want to use those. Let's go and jump into some NHL, seeing if we're getting any big, good props there. And no, we're not. I mean, this is Sebastian here for over at shots on goal. That's really the best one. 53.3% chance to hit. You can see the projection data likes at 3.6. Average sportsbook line and underdog and PrizePicks line have it set at 2.5. That is seemingly an okay prop. Like if you guys want to run that out there, by all means, go for it. That's really about it for NHL purposes. So looking at underdog right now, this is going to be the bet of the day. Again, Ryan Kalkbrenner, we saw a very big prop line difference. Now, could he get his over fantasy score? Sure, of course, right? This is prop line betting. That's just how it goes, right? But at the same time, this is the biggest edge that we currently have. There's going to be enough time, hopefully, for you guys to get that in. Lower fantasy score there. And then Dawson Garcia as well. That's a very big one. If you guys want to use Sheed in there as well with Kalkbrenner, floor is under fantasy score because of what we saw. That's a big prop line difference. By all means, go for that as well. Then again, on PrizePicks, I'm kind of trying more to do the more middling here because I feel like the bigger edge that we typically get with college basketball is on an underdog betting those unders. But I do think there's a middling opportunity here to bet these ones. So again, if you are choosing to do this, I would suggest betting that on underdog as well, just betting the exact opposite of that. If you guys want a more direct bet of the day for PrizePicks, again, I mentioned that this one was probably my favorite one on the day. So with Tyson, we're getting a 2 for prop line difference between PrizePicks and underdog. The data is favoring the over of 31.5 for a fantasy score. And then Sheed, again, it's a very big prop line difference. Let's just take advantage of that. I just want to call, if you guys do choose to use that underdog bet slip and you guys have never signed up before, use the promo code 9to5. That's going to kick back some money my way. I do appreciate that. That's going to be all for today's video, guys. Here's the PrizePicks bet of the day again. If you guys want access to the 9to5 cheat sheet that updates throughout the day, like I mentioned earlier, I was working on a little nuance as part of the tool, but I'm always working on it. And so it's always updating throughout the day to give you guys the best prop bets throughout the day. So if you guys want to, definitely check that out. It's available for $10 a month. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.